Hey Joe, you want to?
Hey Travis.
You want to see my best impression of most people when they go live? Hey,
Yeah.
I think we're live. I think we're live. Hey, can y'all let me know if you can hear me out there, okay? But I think we're live. I think we're
Hey
live.
Bill, can you hear us out there?
Hey Bill, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Bill? I think we're live. Yeah, we should be live, but maybe we're not, Joe. Are we live? Are we live, Joe?
Did you press the button?
Yeah, we're live. We're live. You know, I always.
Tuesday night.
Here's a funny thing about that, Joe. I kind of poke fun at that, but it's kind of almost like instinctively you say that when you go live because there's that little bit of delay for the people that don't know. Watching at home, there is this little bit of delay from the time you hit go live to the time it shows up on YouTube.
Well, we went live and somebody didn't press the timer.
Oh gosh, Joe, dude, I told you to push that, man. That's okay.
Come on.
Everybody will get an extra, what was that? Probably 60, 75 seconds out of the show today.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Yeah. And
you're welcome.
I can't hear the tunes, so I hope the tunes are playing too.
The tunes are playing. The tunes are playing, but I always told myself that if I did a live stream, I would never find myself doing the whole, hey, we live? Hey, let us know out there if you can hear us, okay? I think we're live. Yeah, I think we're live, but it's really hard not to do that off the top of every pre-scalp to say that because there's that little voice in the back of your head that's saying, I hope it's not jacked up out there, but it's not.
Yeah.
Joe, how's your week going?
It's going good.
Good.
Can't complain. Messing around with my my new piece of equipment.
Ooh.
My Atlet reel mower.
Yeah, your Atlet? What's your?
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, more importantly, Joe, I care about how your week has been going, but you know, this ain't about us, Joe. It's not about us.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat, what's up, y'all? What's up, Bill? What's up, JD? Everyone in the chat, what's up, y'all? What's up, Bill? What's up? There's two. Oh, wait, Waterboy Productions is in the chat, too. Oh, that's you, Joe. Hey, what's up, Brian?
How was your Easter?
Dude, it was good. It's kind of funny. I've told you before that on a lot of the holidays, my family doesn't do your traditional meals. We do like a taco bar.
Tacos.
We do kind of off the wall stuff.
I like it.
And my family being a family that has owned burger restaurants back to the 50s and 60s. Oddly enough, on Easter, my dad grills.
You're making me hungry.
he grills the hand. You know, there's something about a restaurant burger, but there's something even better about just hand pattying those burgers and putting them on the charbroil grill and just doing it the old-fashioned way. So we had burgers.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to most people considering we eat them all the time, but it was good. How was your Easter?
We had sushi. So,
sushi?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
We don't. My parents, you know, they live in South Carolina now, so we don't really. My sister's here, and she has her partner, her wife, and they're nurses, so they work all the time, and usually they're working on holidays, which sucks, and that's just the life of a nurse. And they were off this year, so they came over. My sister bought skates for herself, roller skates, and she had bought my son skates for his birthday in February, so they were out there skating.
Oh, fun!
Not falling on their ass or anything. So, but yeah, then we ordered sushi because no one, you know, really wanted to make anything, and I don't blame, you know, that I'm not a cook. I do pasta, and that's about it, really. Maybe burgers on the grill and hot dogs if I feel like it. But my wife does most of the cooking, so, you know, give her a break, order out, you know.
Hey,
so can't complain.
You got to do that every once in a while too.
Chinese food for Mother's Day, you know.
There you go. Whatever she wants on that day. Hey, what's up? What's up, Tom? What's up, Rob? Welcome in, everyone. Hey, did you have good weather on Easter? We had beautiful weather. I was watching the news. It
was a little cool.
Was it cool? Have you seen like all the way up through the central part of the country into like the Dakotas and places that were just coming off of a blizzard are now like reaching close to 90 degrees. I mean, we've been above average here in the low to, well, really mid to upper 70s, close to 80. But I thought that was warm. How about those folks just coming out of snow and it feels like summertime? I mean, that is bizarre. Doghouse, what's up, man?
I love it because I don't have to watch other people's shorts and YouTube videos that are out in that area. So, because they have no content to film, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, we're getting to reap the benefits of a slightly earlier start than some folks. Hey, no Doghouse, I did not watch it. I did watch the Razorback baseball games. Baseball's on right now. We're up over the University of Arkansas Little Rock, 13-2 in the bottom of the third inning. So this one will probably get run ruled. I think it's 7th inning is when
run rule.
Yeah, there's a new college baseball run rule. If you're up by 10 in the 7th inning, I think it is, after the stretch, somewhere around there, 7th or 8th inning. If you're up by 10, if both coaches agree to call it, then you call it good, and they'll move on to the second game of a 2-game midweek series, which will be tomorrow. Hey, Joe, guess what? This show starts now, and every Tuesday night it starts promptly. If I don't forget to turn the timer on, it will start right at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 Central. But tonight we're a little bit behind because the Budget Wooder Show of Joe with Wooder Boy Productions and me, Travis of Budget Lawns, is trying to get its bearing straight. You know what I mean, Joe? Because every time we start a show, I feel like I've got all my ducks in a row. Everything is good to go, and then I realize I got to push start on the timer, and then I got to turn the tunes slightly down a little bit and fade those out, and then change this and change that. It's you know, maybe we'll get big enough, Joe, where we can have our own director every week. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
That'd be pretty cool. Have a producer every week and then, you know, tell them what to do.
Tell them what to do. Hey, Joe, I don't want to one up you, but I do want to say that it's not going to happen on this day in history, but coming up is April 15th. And do you know what happened on April 14th and April 15th of 1912? What was it, Joe?
The Titanic sinking.
Did I tell you this, or have we had this conversation before?
You were saying last week that something about somebody you're reading about Titanic.
Yeah, I'm reading a Titanic history book in one of my little extra times of instruction.
Show that was.
Man, can you believe that? Hey, and speaking of some of my students. So some people might be wondering why our thumbnail tonight, maybe you're not, I don't know, why it says, "I like you cut, G." You know what that means, Joe? You know where that saying came from?
No clue.
So I learned this from 6th and 7th graders, Joe, that after you get a haircut, you're supposed to tell your boy, "I like you cut, G."
Oh my God.
And then you're supposed to slap him on the back of the neck. So the things you learn from 12, 13, 14-year-old 6th and 7th graders is quite interesting on a daily basis. So I figured, since we have the topic of cutting your grass with lawnmowers tonight, that we just, say, "I like you cut, G." Maybe we'll start that in the lawn care community. "I like you cut, G." And nothing says "I love you" like a big old slap on the back of the neck. But we've got some great topics tonight. We're going to talk about lawnmowers. Go for it, Joe.
Speaking of tragedy, our today in history is another tragedy. Back in 1970, Apollo 13 was launched from Cape Kennedy, but now it's called Cape Canaveral. Although scheduled to be the third lunar landing, the mission was aborted after an oxygen tank exploded en route to the moon, and Tom Hanks famously said, "Houston, we have a problem."
Was Tom Hanks on Apollo 13?
He was with Kevin Bacon and
Gary Sinise and who was Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton.
Rest in peace.
He was Bill.
Pour one out for him.
Bill Paxton also was looking for the heart of the ocean from the Titanic, if you recall correctly. It's funny. Yeah. It's funny you bring that up.
Look at that. It all comes back together.
It's this what do you call that? This synergy of it was just meant to be, like It's funny you say that because I love the Titanic, and I go round and round with one of my favorite students at school. He is a huge Apollo 13 fan, and we go back and forth over which story is better, which one is more interesting, which one is more historically mesmerizing, I guess you could say. He's Apollo 13, I'm Titanic, but we could argue.
Yeah, some say we didn't land on the moon, but that's for another show.
Let's not. We've talked about ghosts. We've talked about a lot of strange things here on the show, but let's not go into the moon landing tonight.
It's Cape May, Pat. It's Cape May I'm drinking. I don't drink none of that Bud Light crap.
Oh, don't go there, Joe. We're not going to Bud Light. We're not going to soil tests. We're not going to landing on the moon, and we're not going into anything political tonight because we don't have any time to waste. Last week we went a little bit over, but that's okay. I'm already seeing folks in the chat. Thank you. If you're screaming to the mountaintops to smash that like button, please do that for us, folks. It helps out the stream. And we just want to start off by saying this is our 10th show. Can you believe it, Joe? 10 weeks in a row now. Lots of regular, familiar faces every single week. Lots of names always in the chat. We appreciate you. If y'all weren't here, we would hang it up and not do this. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. You know somebody who just wants to shoot the bull one night a week at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Tuesdays. Tell them to come join us, okay? We're not here to sell you anything, but we do have a product tonight for our sponsor that, Joe, I'm really excited about this sponsor. And guys, if you're going to stick around, you got to stick around for Joe's hot take tonight, but we're not getting to that for a little bit. But I'm really excited about this sponsor, Joe. Tell us who our sponsor is on this lovely evening.
So this is where it all started. This is from the Budget Woodard and Associates Company. This is the Mustard Griddle Squirter Herbicide Spray Bottle.
That's a mouthful, Joe. And Joe, here's the cool thing about this.
It's patent pending. I got my attorney. It's in the office. You know, the administration right now, you know, they're a little slow to get to things right now. So, you know, it's probably like on the back burner. It's probably at the bottom of the pile, as they say, you know. And so hopefully by this time next year, while we'll have the same sponsor for this show next year, and we'll have it patent will be no more longer pending. It'll be approved. We're going to be good to go. I mean, this is revolutionary, guys. I mean, this is next gen stuff right here. I mean, this is shit that Jeff Bezos should have thought of when he was starting Amazon.
You might be using this product on your lawn on Mars one day. So don't discredit the revolutionizing.
Will the video play there?
Yeah, we got a video. Here's a cool thing about this, folks. We actually have a video of Joe demonstrating this product, and he just said it's patent pending. This thing hadn't even hit the market yet, but you would not believe the amount of royalties Joe is already stacking up from the affiliate links on this one, right, Joe?
$1.25. That's what I get out of this.
Every single one, Joe gets $1.25. And whoa! Did you hear that? That's the wrong one. Hold on. Don't go anywhere right there. There's Joe. Look, Joe, tell us what you're doing.
Squirting it out. So I'm just, I'm squirting. Everyone likes a good squirter, and it just squirts out so nice and easy. And I just love saying the word squirt. I don't know. There's something about it. But you could see I had a couple, snow mold and fungus problems in my yard. I got it diagnosed from a channel that's out there on YouTube. It's called Budget Lawns. Oh. And he had a video earlier in the year where he diagnosed his problems as snow mold. And I'm like, what do you... I got the same problem, he's in Arkansas, I'm in Jersey.
But when you're squirting those things, are you giving it the little pew, 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 pew at the same time? Because I don't shoot anything in the lawn without the pew, pew.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, that's what I'm doing. But I love this thing. And you can see it has a strap there. So you put it in your strap, and then when you're ready to go, you just pull it out and you squirt, and you know it's a little messy though. You know,
Joe.
if anyone's familiar with the little squirters out there, I mean, it can get really messy,
Joe.
so you got to be careful. You know,
You're killing me here. So,
but look at it. Look, see how you just use it with your hand right there, just like that. That's all.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good
all
stuff.
All right, look, regroup, Travis. So, Joe is really onto something here. For those that want to know, should we tell them a little bit of the backstory behind the inside joke here, Joe? So, just real quickly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I did invent a piece of restaurant equipment that attaches to the front of flat top griddles and charbroilers. That I invented it out of need for my business that I used to own, restaurant, and we needed something to hold pans right in front of our cooktop to put utensils and bun bags and cheese and all sorts of different things that we needed at the ready right in front of us. So got a little drawing drafted up with my, not so fantastic art skills, and then had a prototype made, had it manufactured, patented, the whole shebang. So I've got that licensed out to another company. It was a great learning experience, and it's not making me rich or anything, but sometimes it's all about the creative process that really gets me going. And speaking of getting me going, Joe, gosh, I got to stop. I mean, we've talked about squirting straps, all these things, and now we're talking about getting me going. All right, what? It lost Travis for it lost me for about 10 seconds. Is that what you're saying? Huh. Okay. Well, I'm back. Hey, Joe. Each week we like to we try to direct a little traffic to some of our content that we put out on our channels. If you're not following or subscribed to Wooderboy Productions, I do ask you, go over, give Joe a sub, and support his content as well. We've both got lots of great content coming out this season, and a lot of you have been already keeping an eye on something that has finally lifted off. Oh, speaking of Apollo 13, Joe, we have lifted off in the front lawn, and the front lawn renovation is underway. And Joe, what did you tell me earlier when you saw this picture?
I said I'd be freaking out. I forget the exact words.
I think you said you would have a knipshit.
I would have. Yeah, that's it. I would have a knipshit. Arkansas, we have a problem. That's what I would say.
So, those that have been following since last summer when we moved, or last year when we moved into this house, if I had enough snow in my area, I could probably open my own ski resort just in my front lawn. And we're taking drastic measures to make this space more functional, more usable, more enjoyable for our family. So this is just the start of the first wall. We will be putting in 2 retaining walls with a flower bed, garden bed, planter area between the 2. And then towards the top of the lawn, we're going to have more landscaping. But what I am really excited about, towards the top of the lawn, I'm told that I will have really a pretty nice, smooth, small area of turf that I will keep nicely manicured. We're going to mirror it on the other side of the driveway. This is going to be about a 4 or 5 week process. But for those of you that are interested, make sure you're following along on Budget Lawns. I've been giving some post updates with pictures, and we'll get some videos. I've been taking a little bit of video of it every couple days or so.
I'm just glad someone knows how to build a wall, because looks good.
Here's the thing. I am not doing this. Let me make that abundantly clear, Joe, because I think a lot of people have been assuming that this is a DIY project. This is way beyond the scope of my skill set, not just for the functionality aspect of it, but the safety concerns. Yeah. This being close to a sidewalk and quite the slope, I want to make sure that this is done correctly by the pros.
That's a wide sidewalk. That's a very wide sidewalk.
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe it's just the angle of the picture, but it looks like a very wide sidewalk.
It might be the angle of the picture, but these guys, they're from our discussions, they're taking every precaution. I've already had a lot of people in the comments saying, "Oh, I hope they're doing this and I hope they're doing that." They're doing the geo grid. You can see some of the PVC piping coming out there. We're going to be running all my gutters and everything to some drainage boxes that are going to release all the excess water out at the sidewalk instead of in my lawn. So we feel like we've crossed every T and dotted every I. So I come home every day from school just super antsy to see what progress has been made each day.
I think there's one thing missing though in this picture, and I think we might have to create like a little super chat fund for it.
What's that?
I think we're missing a rocking chair up there on that front porch there. We need to create a little fun for it.
I think those will be. We haven't been able to use our front porch. Well, we didn't last year because every time the kids would walk out into the front lawn, our little guy would just start somersaulting down. Yeah, they think it's fun. Yeah, we're gonna run down the hill, and it's just way too steep for them to handle. So there's an update on that. I don't want to spend too much time on that, Joe, because I know there might be some people in the chat watching live tonight that are in the market for a new lawnmower. So we definitely have to get to the lawn mower talk tonight. Joe, have you been mowing? Did you mow this week?
I mowed actually Easter morning. I'm one of those neighbors. I don't give a shit what day of the week it is. I'll get out there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, fuck it, on a Sunday, and just, screw it. If I know Sundays, people like to sleep in and that sort of thing, but screw them. I'm going to get out there. So I did. I got a mowing on Sunday. It looks good. My lawn is, I really don't care anymore. Like it's green, it's thick, it's lush right now. It is filling in from the fall time, and but I just got a lot of POA. I just got a lot of POA on my lawn, and I don't really feel like spraying it. So my goal is this year to get through it through the fall time and not do an overseed and just hit it with some with a pre-emergent. And so hopefully in the springtime next year I don't have to look at POA all over the place.
Well, Joe, I don't want to spill too many beans about. Well, you already put a YouTube short up the other day, but this new gizmo you've got is pretty freaking sweet. So I'll understand if you get a little preoccupied in the garage and you're spending more time with your new toy than you are with some of your lawn toys.
Let me tell you. That toy was freaking heavy.
Was it?
It took three grown men and a woman to pick this thing up. I'll have a video. I'm gonna start a thing. It's gonna be called Thunder Thursdays, and so every Thursday I'm hoping to be able to put something out about it, and I'll have some grass content as well. But that's gonna be my thing this year is Thunder Thursdays. So stay tuned to my channel.
Nice.
To check it out.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Hey, I did want to answer one question. I saw this. Hey, Bill, you asked where the PVC was coming from. Right now, those are just little stubs that they had to go ahead and notch out on some of those blocks to just go ahead and get kind of their stub to where they're going to bring all the PVC from the gutters in the front of the house, then all the gutters from the back of the house. Everything flows out towards the street, so everything will eventually, from all around the house, empty right there out of a series of PVC pipe with some drainage, not catch basins, but drainage boxes where they fill up and kind of seep out. And I'm looking at doing some river rock right there in between the wall and the sidewalk. That way, when that water comes out, it flows nicely away from the wall, hopefully, and down the street where the rest of the water is flowing. So that's the plan with that. The blocks, Joe, that you saw, we're using this. Let me bring that back up. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but this is kind of cool. So this is like a modular system. They install the blocks, and then they actually install the face of the wall to the blocks. It's kind of like a facade is really what it is. But once the face is put on the blocks of the wall, it will look like a stone wall, which is is the idea of what we're going. Joe, what in the? Did you change hats on us? Are you? Is that what hat is that?
Don't worry about it.
Is that a
It's
Toro
my
hat?
it's my least favorite lawnmower company.
Well, I wore Toro tonight just to grind your gears because I know how big of a Toro fan
I love Toro.
Toro fan you are.
Yep, Toro's the way.
Bill, that's what's cool because I wanted to do natural stone, and the price of doing natural stone and paying somebody that was going to have to piece it all together like a puzzle and chisel it all out and do all that kind of stuff was way more expensive. And it's just, this is just engineered to be safe. And for this application, I was really encouraged that this will be your safest, your most comforting option of the two, natural stone or this. So that's what we went with. Hey, Joe, let's get back to the toys because you got a new toy, but you also have a lot of toys that will, my gosh, it's just toys and bottles and squirting. And
We gotta
just watch it, okay? But here's Joe's toys. These are the toys that gets Joe rocking and rolling. Joe, this is your equipment, right? Is this what makes the magic happen?
So the X mark there in the middle, the big red old looking one is what I had. That was my dad's original lawnmower, and that's the one I talked about on here before that I sold to a first responder. That's a 36-inch X mark. It has the pistol grips. That mower was really good. I kind of was thinking about it this weekend. I kind of wish I kept it. You could just get done quicker. And, sometimes I wish I had a little bit bigger a mower than the Toro 21-inch up there in the right-hand corner. And then that piece of shit mower there to the left, the battery one by Toro, that is just, like I said, it's a piece of shit. I've talked about it before and I'll say it again. It has a 60-volt battery on it.
Joe, I just can't figure this out because I've seen so many videos about how awesome it is, and you're sitting here dogging on it like it's,
Well, if you want to walk at a snail's pace, and it's great for a 6-year-old. My son loves it. I mean, it's like a toy for him. Literally, it's like a toy because we did a video, a Friday night mow video, me and him, and he was just like spinning around in circles with it and just, going nuts. And great. That's if you want to do that. But I want to get done. And now that one doesn't have the personal piece, that Toro battery one. I picked that up at Home Depot for, I think it was like $200. It was on clearance because of course they didn't sell it during the regular season. I had to go all the way to Cherry Hill, which is 30 minutes from me.
Is it because you're mowing super tall fescue, or what is it? Do you think maybe the folks with the shorter cut grass would have a better experience?
It's just not strong enough, in my opinion. I just feel, that we always talk about it's a brushless lawnmower, brushless mower, brushless. Who gives a shit if it's brushless or not or whatever? Seriously, I just want it to cut. And then, the battery ones, when when you get to thicker turf, the engine starts to rev up, and then so that blade's spinning even harder. And I don't know, honestly, I don't think whatever. I don't know. It's just not for me. Until they make these batteries as strong as a gas mower or as fast as a gas mower, I don't know. I just think and we talked about it before. What if my battery runs out and I only have one battery?
I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush.
I'll see you tomorrow, grass. I'll cut you tomorrow. No,
no, that would hang over my head the whole day. The next day, that dadgummit, I got to get out and mow that one little patch that I didn't get to last night. Hey, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so the only other two pieces of equipment that I have right now are the Echo, right down there in the left-hand corner. That's the weed eater or the string trimmer that
you're learning.
That I talked about. It's 16 years old and that thing still runs really good. And then the Craftsman backpack blower, that thing runs pretty good too. The only problem with the two-stroke stuff is I don't mix my oil anymore with my gas. I just get the pre-mixed stuff.
You get the True Fuel. Is it the True?
Yeah,
True.
It's in the red container.
Yeah,
and it's just we've had experiences through the years with just the newer carburetors. They're just not made like they were, like that Echo one was, 16, 20 years ago. They can't handle the gas that we have now, and they get clogged very easily. So I just go get the ethanol free shit from, Home Depot or Lowe's, and just because I'm only weed whack, and I only weed whack once a week. I might cut twice a week, but I only weed whack and blow. I blow every time after I cut, but I only weed whack and trim or edge, once a week, So that's pretty much my routine.
I used to use that True Fuel until I started upping how much I was out in the lawn. Then it kind of got to be a little bit expensive, but it's a good product. I mean, if you don't want to, of course, where you're at, you don't even get to pump your own gas, so that would play into it for me as well. That I wouldn't be able to easily go to the gas station and mix my own fuel for my smaller equipment pieces. But I used to use it. I've steered away from it. It's just it was out of my budget.
I might have the opportunity this year, and I saw him earlier in the chat. Grass Thief, he lives in my area. He has a Bermuda actually, and I might have the opportunity to actually use my first real mower. And if he's still in the chat, I believe he has a California trimmer. Trimmer, yeah. So
that's what I got.
That'll
Joe.
be interesting.
That's what I got. So here's what we want to do. We've talked in past episodes about lawnmowers, and we talked about the equipment that we have. We're going to touch on that for just a second. And then Joe's put together some really cool stuff that might help you out if you are looking to buy something new this year. Maybe not new, but different to you. Joe just said he might get to use a real mower this year, but we've got some suggestions coming up. But this is my fleet, I guess you could say. This is my fleet of equipment. It's some fancy stuff, Joe. I guess
wait a minute. Who's that guy in the top left-hand corner there?
And the dude. Hold on. Were you? Stop, man. Look, you see Joe. You see.
Wait a minute.
Joe,
who's that guy there?
Joe,
above the gas tank.
Last week it was Jeff Goldblum, and now you're putting these little Hey, does everybody in the chat see that? Do you see that? You see me pointing at Joe's logo there, and then he was so kind to put me on my image as well, pointing at my logo. Joe's dropping these little. Maybe Joe will do a giveaway in a future episode where if someone, whoever is first to find,
like a Where's Waldo,
whoever is first to find the Easter egg in one of your images, they'll get a prize.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's Joe. I think
it's a really good idea.
I don't know if I'm going to give that credit to you though, because if you wouldn't have been dropping these little hidden gems in there.
Did you notice that when I sent it to you, or is this?
I noticed it in one, but I did not notice it in the image of me.
Yes.
So, but I completely forgot about it. So this is my fleet here. You've heard about my Troy built. I mean, this is high quality stuff. This Troy built is. It doesn't even have the self-propelled mechanism. No personal pace. It is your old-fashioned, trusty Troy built TB130. Look, it mulches, it side discharges, and it bags. That's my rotary mower. Then I've got the Earthwise 7 blade, which I think I might have been one of the first to have the Earthwise 7 blade, and then it just completely took off from there. So if you're in the market for a manual reel mower, this one is my recommendation for where you should start, and we'll revisit it in just a minute. But after about a season of manually reel mowing and dang near dying from heat exhaustion and dehydration, I decided that it was time to, if I was going to reel mow, I needed to jump up to the big leagues and got me a California trimmer. So I feel like with these three pieces of equipment, when it comes to mowing, I've got a rotary, a manual reel mower, which I actually still use in those kind of hard to reach nooks and crannies that the California trimmer is hard to get into. But that's what I cut the grass with. You'll find that you like my cut G with those three lawn mowers. And then there's the old steel trimmer and the steel, just a regular hand leaf blower. I'm telling you, I wouldn't say that I've got anything necessarily highly fancy or overly expensive, but that's really not what you have to shoot for when it comes to lawnmowers. Because as our title says, Joe, it's just about how you use it and how often. Like, just use the dang thing and use it often. It's really the number one key. I mean, I think a lot of people sometimes get all hell-bent and get too consumed and obsessed with what lawnmower they're using. But I promise you, I've seen people with super nice lawns, and if you saw what they were cutting them with, you wouldn't believe it. The difference is they're out there with that dang lawnmower pushing it around 2 or 3 times a week to get the results they see.
Yeah.
How many times a week you mow in the season, Joe?
When it's in the springtime and the fall time, I'm cutting like twice a week. You know, and it might not be much, but it's enough to, you know, push the growth and, you know, feed the lawn with like we talked about before, I try and mulch. I like a good side discharge as well. You know, it just really flings it out of there for you. And, you know, it's just, yeah. So like usually twice a week. Like right now I'm only doing once a week. We're still cool at night. We're in the 60s at night. We might get up to the 80s this week, but you know, we're still a good, you know, I would say a couple like a LCM would say a couple true tree 3. I can't say it. Can't do the accent.
Hey, Joe.
3 weeks away from you know, really getting into the mowing season.
Hey, Joe. I think there are a lot of folks in the chat that would love to hear your David Beckham accent again. Is that possible, or do they need to go back to last week's show?
Well, so after that,
somebody commented, Joe, this is David Beckham and everyone else.
I was doing the Super Mario. This is a David Beckham, you know. This is a Mario, you know.
I have not gotten that.
See, when I talk like that, I got to put my hands up. You know, I'm Italian, so I got to talk.
Did you switch hats again?
You know. I don't know.
Joe, you're killing me. You're killing me. Every time I've looked up, you've had 3 different hats on. Are you doing that while I'm changing the graphics from like full screen to the 2 box?
Maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe.
Hey.
Maybe I got a budget lawns hat next. We'll see.
Have I sent you one? Dude, that week I wore your lawn warrior toboggan. I dang near.
Yeah, you're red as Rudolph's nose.
And see, I thought that maybe I was getting red and it was part of my lighting, but then I looked at it. It's like my face gets progressively more red throughout each episode. I've got my ceiling fan on because I get a little warm, but we haven't kicked the air conditioner on yet, and it's been warm during the day, and I have not even scalped yet, Joe. Some people have. It's still cool at night, but I said in my video this past weekend, I'm not doing anything until the 15th, but it's still been pretty cool at night. So soil temps and the air temperatures are dropping pretty good at night down into the 40s. So until those night temperatures really get up into the 60s, we're just not going to see a very quick green up, and our temperatures are supposed to go pretty far down starting this weekend, I think.
I'm on my pre-scalp.
Dang, you're a pre-scalping machine. Hey, don't talk bad about pre-scalp, because all the Doc fanboys or the Ron fanboys will really come after us, Joe, if we're talking about the pre-scalp, because you know how I feel about it. It's probably one of the most worthless. I shouldn't say it's worthless. I think it's just a little much when it comes to lawn care tips. Hey, but I have not scalped yet, and I'm going to be honest, like with this front yard being completely in shambles, I don't know what's going to happen with the actual start of the backyard right now, because I'm really dialed in on trying to juggle, okay, when they finish this, I got to water sod, and then I want to plant everything all at once. I've still got a lot of questions up in the air, but I'm just trying to tell myself one day at a time. One day at a time. Hey, Joe, for those people that are maybe looking at getting a new mower this year, or maybe switching to a different style of mower, we have them covered. Would you say that's a fair assessment of what we've got up next?
Yeah, I would say so. This is all the way from the homeowner to, I would say, even the professional level.
Who's the gangster there in the purple
That's
do
that's
rag?
it's that's Prison Mike.
Who?
It's Prison Mike from The Office.
Oh, is that is that another
You're
impression?
not I think you're not an Office fan, are you?
Yeah, no. Joe found out the other day I'm not an Office fan because I'm still a Seinfeld fan, and I just don't have time to get wrapped up in a whole lot of programs, as the old folks say, on TV. So I've got a very short list of shows, and The Office has not made it on to that list as of yet. But Joe, what's our list of lawnmowers that we?
Yeah,
I feel like it's The Price is Right, and behind door number 2 is we have the Husqvarna lawn tractor. Is that
yeah.
how I would
So
say it?
yeah, that's how you would say it. Yeah, I would. The majority of these are obviously Husqvarna, and the robotic mower. I saw the robotic one at Equip Expo, GIE, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty beastly looking. I mean, it's big. Like, it's not like this little thing, like a Roomba looking thing. It's a decent sized little robot lawnmower, and of course, you got there. They have this is of course Mowers Direct. It's a website that I found online. It has this is reviews and everything you could think of is on there related to lawn care and lawn mowers. And there was a couple other websites that I was looking at as well, but this is the one that I kind of kept going, taking me back to. So they're listing out best electric lawnmower as the Toro Super Recycler, or the Toro Recycler, unfortunately. That's their
Does
smart
that
stove.
just disappoint you, Joe, that you have to say that?
I mean, not really, because I mean, I'm surprised Ego wasn't on there, because we see a ton of Ego. I mean, their commercials are everywhere now. Um, and that's the thing with Toro. I mean, in my area, the lawnmower that probably gets advertised the most is Ego on TV. That's what I see. And I mean, Ego's obviously in Lowe's. They have it in Ace as well. So I'm kind of surprised that the electric lawnmower is the Toro. I guess maybe it's a price point there, why they're listing it there as their best mower for 2023. I know they added some other features to their mower with their vortex, with their airflow and this and that, whatever. I really don't give a shit, but but so
So
let's
this
skip
is
over to
this is the Mowers Direct, you said. So
yeah.
I always
There
wonder.
could be, maybe there's a little, shoveling of money under the table
And
too.
see, I
Who
always
knows?
wonder the validity of these. It does, and I'm not just saying this for lawnmowers, but you look up best podcast microphone, and you come up with
Yeah.
this list that looks like it's legit, man. Like this is what I'm
Mhm.
going to base my purchase off of. But how do you know? Because then right underneath that one, there's another one that looks just as legit, and then right under that's another one that looks just as legit. And it seems like they always vary slightly. I know there's people out there that will test these kind of things and do that, but you're really going, I would imagine, off of probably online reviews, maybe in the case of microphones, sometimes like the subjectivity of a person that tested them all. I don't have a clue, but sometimes when I see these lists, I don't know whether to, take them with a grain of
And
salt or to actually trust
yeah,
them.
because honestly, the Husqvarna, like, no, like, I really don't see too many people have Husqvarna
I
lawnmowers.
never
Like, I
do. And
just
so when you sent this, I was surprised to see Husqvarna. I mean,
that
what?
same when I think of Husqvarna, I think of like a backpack blower. In my opinion, most people I know have either they have a Husqvarna backpack blower, or a like an Echo backpack blower. Um, so I was kind of surprised to see the riding lawnmower there. My sister has a riding lawnmower at her house. She has a Troy built. Thing runs fine. Never had any issues. Pain in the ass to change the blades, but
Did you change
But other
hats
than
again?
that, I don't know.
Jesus criminy Christmas. Did you
But look at the real mower there.
which
They need to give you a commission there.
dude, I know. Shortly after, I'm just not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, yeah. Earthwise 7-blade reel mower. It is, if you're looking for a manual reel mower, this one is the one I would absolutely go with. Here's a drawback. It's pretty narrow. It's only like 16 inches. So that's going to not cover that wide of a swath of grass.
It's not about the size.
It's just not about the size. It's about how you use it. Okay, but it's not that wide, so it's not going to cover a whole lot of ground at one time. But if you want to test out manual reel mowing, I don't know what this one's priced at anymore. I think I got it for $109. But the 7-blade, especially if you've got Bermuda and you're mowing low, you want as many blades clipping the tops of those leaf blades off, the grass blades off, if possible. Because if not, you're probably going to see a little bit more washboarding effect where it kind of looks like waves in your grass. But earthwise, I've loved it, man. I think I mentioned last week, I intend on using all 3 of my lawnmowers in some capacity in my yard to get an idea and to show folks that you can make any space beautiful regardless of the lawnmower you're using, but you just have to set your expectations. How high are you going to set them, and how low are you going to set them but still be happy with it? What's that other one on there, Joe?
The Brush King?
What is that?
Yeah, I have no freaking clue. It was just on there, and I just put it on there. I don't know if somebody in the chat might be familiar with it or not. I don't know. When I think of Brush King, I think of, like, I don't know, trimming something else, but I don't know.
Golly. Oh my gosh. Moving on. So this was the Mowers Direct best lawn mowers of 2023. Don't think that we're just going to leave you at one list and tell you to take that as gospel. Joe was kind enough to get us another list ready, and this one's from USA Today. Right,
Yeah.
Joe?
So, yeah, USA Today best lawn mowers of 2023. So there you go. Ego on there, number 2. I see a lot of. I don't see a ton of people in my area have Ego, but I mean it's in Lowe's, and they definitely sell out each year. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Ryobi, I just feels too cheap, and for me, I mean, Ryobi's really taken over my Home Depot of late, and the lawn care aisle is just nothing but Ryobi now.
So how many on this list, Joe, are electric or battery operated, I should say?
Well, so the Ego is, the Ryobi, I believe there is, and I think the Greenworks as well. So there's three of the 5?
So it makes you wonder, from Mowers Direct to USA Today, do you think there might be any political standpoint from an organization like USA Today to
probably
really highlight the green, the battery operated, the zero emission lawnmowers as opposed to the Mowers Direct?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, well, Ego, we know Ego's all electric. There is no gas option for Ego. And same thing with Ryobi. We know there's no. I believe there's no gas option for Ryobi either. And I think Greenworks is the same way. So you could. I think there's a little bit of both there. They're trying to push that green energy battery movement, and then there's also those companies that are doing nothing but battery right now. But the Honda, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Honda though.
Is Honda being phased out after this year?
They are. I believe they are being phased out after this year. So if you like the Honda, I would get the Honda. But they last a long time. I mean, it is gas, but why not get something that's going to last a long time, rather than a battery that you leave it out in the wintertime, apparently, and you don't bring it inside your house, that it's not going to charge as good, and so it's like, I don't know. Everyone has their preference. I mean, it's just it is. It's a personal preference when it comes down to this.
Hey, Joe, you
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 know,
um you often have talked about, was it your dad that had the, or you used to have the lawn boy? Was it a, is that like that that almost Kelly green? What's it called?
yeah,
Is that what it
yeah.
is?
It's like a lime. It's like
Like a
a
lime
lime
green?
greenish.
So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was like I don't know. I'm 32, so that was probably like over 30 some years ago when he had that lawnmower. So
So if I would have been in my truck by myself last week, we were driving down one of the side roads, and you know how people throw their junk out at the curb as if to say, "Hey, look, come grab it if you want it. It's yours for the taking." I
yeah,
drove by and there was this. I mean, it looked like an old school ancient lawnmower, and it was lime green. And I bet you a million
yeah,
bucks it was a lawn boy.
probably.
And I
Hit
almost stopped to pick
this
that thing
lawnmower.
up.
I can like kind of picture it in my mind because the first house that I grew up in, I can kind of picture it in the garage, and it had this like steel bar that used to have like the bagger wasn't like a hard bagger, it was almost like a bag, like literally like a bag, like a burlap kind of bag, and it would hang off of this like bar that would like come off the lawn boy, and that's the way, that's how it used to bag back then. It just used to like, to think that we've come such a long way to like, you know, bag a lawn with like an actual catcher on the back, and it's actually, you know, made nice. It's just, it's crazy. But hey, those things last. I mean, you know, that's why they just don't make shit like they used to. They really
No,
don't.
it's got to break
And they,
down. The
you
sooner
know,
it breaks
yeah,
down, the, and here's the thing, uh, they don't make it like they used to. And let's be honest, younger generations, myself included in that, we don't take care of it quite like they used to either. I mean,
no,
we like to get something new. Like I wanna wear something out and get the technology, and the improvements happen so fast these days that in a couple years what you're using could easily be obsolete. Where my dad, his generation, the improvements in the technology wasn't changing so quickly. And I don't know, maybe they were and I didn't know it, but he took so much more pride in keeping that Dixon zero turn baby blue lawnmower running for over 20 years with never a hiccup, by making sure he was maintaining it all the time, changing the oil. I mean, doing everything he had to do to extend its life instead of letting it eat, you know what, and die,
yeah,
and then he could get something new. That was his sense of pride, was making that thing last a long time. Nowadays, it's like people's
mm,
sense of pride is, oh, hey, look at the new one I got. This one's the newest and most expensive, fanciest one you can get on the market. Where it's just a totally different mindset, I would think. A
yeah.
Pat saying that younger generation can't repair anything; they throw it out and get another. Hey, can we blame that on capitalism and the marketing and advertising, or maybe social media has something to do with it? I don't know. That's a whole nother topic of conversation for another day. Hey, Joe, tell us a story. What's the believe sign for behind you? That's new this week.
Yeah, so this is one of my projects that I just did on my new toy out in my garage. This is from Ted Lasso,
Ah,
the show that you don't watch.
I don't watch it.
Um,
No, I don't watch it, and I don't watch The
so
Office.
I, yeah,
Here's
so
your
that's
chance to
that.
beat me up, punch me. Come on,
Yeah, well, I never watched
beat
Seinfeld, so
beat
I'm not a
beat.
big.
Be like my good old pal Harper Explorers. Come on, sling some insults at me. Come on now, hit me. Give me the jab. Give me the 1-2 uppercut. Come on, come on.
Yeah, so these are kind of the signs I'm going to be making. So maybe I'll feature something each week back here, on the stuff that I make, and
Hey,
I
that's
had plan on making you. I do plan on making you something and sending you something. Once this thing comes in that I gotta get. So,
That's a cool
but
idea. It makes me think of what was that sports anchor guy on Around the Horn back in the day? The kind of wacky guy that always
oh
had the
yeah,
dry erase board behind him.
shoot.
What is his name?
Woody
Woody
Page. Yeah. So
Page.
this is
Oh,
like a
cool, cool,
it's
very
like kind
cool.
of like 3D, and it cuts it out, and yeah.
Nice. That's sweet.
So
Hey, Pat. Fair enough. Pat says blame it on yourselves for not wanting to. Hey, we like to learn. I always helped my dad. I was actually the only one out of my 3 brothers, so the only one out of 4 boys that I was the only one that mowed. I loved mowing. I loved blowing off the turnaround, the driveway, the back porch, all that good stuff. So, but I would agree. Most young kids these days not quite the helpers that some of us once were. Hey, Joe, I'm glad we got to talk about the Lawn Boy again and my dad's Baby Blue Dixon, because if I remember correctly, that was the show. Was that episode 3 where we had a really good, flow going? We were talking about our favorite lawnmowers and stuff, and then all of a sudden, Joe disappeared from the face of the earth and went out in his front yard and started cursing to the moon. Was that show 3?
Literally, that was show 3, I believe. Yeah.
Bill's asking how much for
way.
a sign. Do you have prices yet, Joe?
DM me on Instagram, Bill. And I could make something for you.
Very cool.
I'm working on a craft show for the fall time, and I'm going to be focusing on like door hangers, different things like that. I made like for a skeleton from Nightmare Before Christmas. I made that over the weekend. And like a welcome sign for like a patriotic theme. So that's kind of going to be my thing, is making door hangers. I just always love building stuff with wood and painting wood. And so this is like what I'm into. And so I was, of course, into the grass. I'll be honest, I've lost a little bit of passion about it, but I enjoy doing this weekly with Travis and talking about, my experiences and stories. And, but this is what I'm going to be focusing on a little bit for the next year.
Hey, I think it's great, Joe. I mean, sometimes being
it's an expensive hobby, but, yeah.
It's a lot more fun to have more tools, in the toolbox than just be a one-trick pony and only be able to do one thing. So I think that's cool. I think it'll give us something else to talk about. Toro commercial homeowner model with these mowers are great. Cool. Hey, thanks for all the feedback we're getting in the chat. It's tough for us sometimes while we're having a conversation here to catch all of your comments. Honestly, if you ask me, and I catch a live stream, which I rarely do, where they just sit there and look at the comments and go back and forth. Sometimes it gets a little mundane. But if you want us to address comments a little bit more frequently, let us know. But if you like just chatting amongst yourselves, let us know that as well. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, folks. Leave us a thumbs up if you're here. If you're just getting in here, if you've been in here, give us a thumbs up. All that stuff helps out the stream. Okay? Hey, Joe, we were just talking about you cursing at the moon the night that we lost you. And I don't know that led to our weekly segment, but it has become a staple here on a weekly basis. It's a new segment. Now, I guess it's not new now. What is this, the 3rd or 4th week running? Maybe it's been official this is like the 4th week that it's been official.
Official.
But we have a new segment, official segment, that's called Joe Knows Hot Takes. And Joe's hot take tonight, taking another low blow at me here, Joe. I see me here. Tell us, what on earth are you mad about this week, Joe?
I'm mad about the weather people, the weather men, the weather ladies, whatever you want to call them out there. So obviously last Thursday was the opening day for the Phillies. It was 80 degrees. It was beautiful. We've never had an opening day probably that warm in a long time. And what is with you people? What is with you weather people out there that you cannot predict the weather? I mean, seriously, all day, 80% chance of rain, 80% chance of rain. What do the Phillies do? You know what they do? They cancel the opening day, people. That's what they do. Not funny, not cool. I've been to an opening weekend. I haven't been to an actual opening day, but it was 80 degrees. It was beautiful.
Was that last Tuesday?
No, last Thursday.
Was it Thursday? Okay.
I just don't get it. Just because it says 80% chance of rain doesn't mean you need to freaking cancel. And you could see the radar right here. The radar, my dot, you can see where I live at is the blue dot, and I'm pretty close to obviously Philadelphia. And literally, there was no freaking rain. There was no rain until later in the day. It was like, I don't know, 8 o'clock, and we got some passing showers, and that was about it. And like, I'm just sick and tired. Like earlier this year. Oh, it's gonna the farmer's almanac. It's gonna be a cold winter. We're gonna see a lot of snow. And what did we get? Nothing. Zilch. Nothing. A dusting of snow one day, and it melted by 12
We
o'clock.
got way more snow than you did all season.
Yeah. So again, don't cancel ship because the weatherman says, "Oh, 80% chance of rain that day."
It's tough. Like some of the folks in here know that I prefer the term weather anchor because
I do. John, I do blame the weather people because I don't blame the organization because the organization listens to the weather people. So if the weather people are wrong, the organization is going to be wrong. So I blame John, I love you. You're great. I see you every week in the chat, but I will.
Hey, John is the Budget Wooder Show title. He is he will go down in infamy for the Budget Wooder Show suggestion.
I don't get it. Your people, Travis, your weather people, I just don't get it.
So I prefer weather anchor because I hadn't finished meteorology school yet. And it sounds better than like weatherman, but it made me sound more professional, more official to be a weather anchor. But I do have a little sympathy because.
I mean, come on, look at that radar there. Look at that radar there and the timing on that radar.
As Pat said, it's one of the only professions where you can be wrong and still keep your job. But here is the thing about forecasting, okay? Most of the time, you would rather be wrong. So you're okay being wrong because the alternative is something better actually happening. So I mentioned last week on the show that we had like tornadoes in the forecast last Tuesday night. I was going to have a long night sitting up watching the weather. And we finished the show and I decided, hey, I'll just go hang out on the couch because we were expecting storms after midnight sometime. And I'll just go hang out on the couch and watch the replay of the show and keep an eye on the radar and the forecast discussion while I watch it. Well, the latest forecast discussion came out just after 11 o'clock last week, and it was like, this whole deal is turning into kind of nothing burger at this point. And yeah, that round of severe storms after midnight is not materializing, but around sunrise, we'll get those sunrise storms and be on the lookout at sunrise. Those are going to be really bad as well. And they really didn't amount to a whole lot at all. Now, that's not to say that people east of us, I know Southeast Missouri last week had a bad outbreak, and I think 5 people lost their lives, if I recall correctly. So some people did hit bad. So sometimes being wrong is a welcomed mistake because we were looking at large hail, damaging winds, possible tornadoes, and you would rather be wrong on a forecast like that than right because being right, yeah, you might have something to brag about being right, but there could be a lot of destruction as a result. So it's one of those things, but I get it because if you're expecting snow and you said your kids were going crazy not being able to play in the snow, and if you're expecting snow and they're wrong on that one, that'll piss you off. If you're expecting if you're expecting rain to water your fertilizer pre-emergent in, and that doesn't hit like the forecast said, that's gonna piss you off. But sometimes it sucks, and sometimes it's okay. But I feel your pain, Joe.
Screw you, weather people.
Tell us how you really feel. Did they get have they had their home opener yet? Did they finally?
They had their that was the next day, and it was like 60 degrees. It was cold. It was cold. It was cool. It was windy. It's just 80 degrees. I mean, that's for opening day. You can't go wrong. I mean, I've been to Phillies games where it's gotten rained out, or it then you didn't finish it, and usually they'll comp you like two games or something, and they'll give you tickets for two different games, and then the makeup game for that game. So sometimes it's worth, being able to go. And people were calling in; they were pissed on sports radio. I mean, they're calling in. They're taking off for the day, and they bring their kids there. They're taking their kids out of school, and it's just like, and then this shit happens,
Hey,
and it sucks.
Joe. So I am seeing some really good comments. No Name says that 99% of it's done by computer models, and Western Mass Turf says, yeah, you do. You got to look at multiple models: the Canadian, the European, all these different models that are trying to get a hold of all the elements to consider and forecast how it's going to play out. And sometimes a blend of those can be the best thing to look at. But here's what I really like. My favorite meteorologist here in Northwest Arkansas that I interned under when I was in college, here's what really I think sets him apart from a lot of other meteorologists, not just in this market, but across the country. These TV jobs, let's face it, most of the people on the TV side of meteorology are not so much in it for the science side. They're in it for the TV. They love the broadcasting. They love the lights of the studio. They love that side of it. And they go to school to also be able to explain the weather side of it. You can actually go to school just for broadcast meteorology. Most of those people do it for television. The people that are really gung-ho and deep into the science of weather, there are jobs behind the scenes, not on camera, that those people fill that put together a lot of the forecasts that the people on TV just present. So the reason why I particularly like this one meteorologist here locally, because he's kind of a great blend of the two. He's awesome on TV, but he is incredibly knowledgeable and skilled at his craft when it comes to the science of weather. And he will say, screw the models sometimes, and he will go with his own education, his own experience, things he has seen over decades of doing this, trends that have happened in the past, and he will apply those to what might happen in the future. And I think when you can find a good balance of that, I think that's what really makes him exceptional. But yeah, there are a lot of
kind of guy.
He's awesome. He's Dan Scoff is my favorite meteorologist here. He was very instrumental and influential in me getting my first job, or my only job in TV, before I decided to leave the TV business. But I was one of those weather anchors that I loved the broadcasting side of it. That's what I went to college for, was broadcast journalism. I loved the production, the graphic building, the storytelling, all that kind of stuff. But as we've seen, Joe, with these weather forecasts, sometimes science can be wrong, and it's not always true. Yeah, you got to know your region. I mean, if you've lived in a region long enough, you're able to say, this is more likely to happen with these elements in the atmosphere setting up the way they are. Or, 10 years ago when we had this setup for this snowstorm, this is what happened, and this is likely to happen again. Things like that. Just like in your lawn, knowing your lawn makes a huge difference too, because you're going to know best what goes on in your lawn than anybody else, regardless of what somebody tells you online, what the science says about it. If you've watched that lawn behave a certain way over years at a time, then it's pretty safe to say you're able to accurately forecast what's going to happen next. You like that,
I think
Joe?
I'd rather have.
You like that?
I think I'd rather have. Is it Nicolas Cage that's in that movie, The Weatherman?
The Weatherman? I don't know. I don't think I've seen it. Man, I thought I was going to be the next Jim Cantori for the Weather Channel. I got to meet him one time when I was down in Florida covering Tropical Storm Faye back in 2009. It was pretty cool. I got to walk on into the set where he was doing a live shot from Panama City Beach one night. So.
Funny story. I used to work with this guy, and he's like, what I wanted to be when I grew up. I always used to tell my mom, I want to be the drummer on the Weather Channel. You know, like that when they do like the they give like the regions and they play like that slow jazz music. He's like,
I
I want to
I
be
want to
that
be the
drummer.
composer for the music on.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know,
Joe.
with the brushes on the drum. You know, yeah.
Hey, I'm going to bring this up one more time because I think Joe was really taking. Look, he's got me up there again, right next to screw you. Screw you, weather people. Right? Is that directed at me intentionally, Joe? You're really hurting my feelings tonight. I thought we were.
No,
I thought we were boys.
it's a, it's nothing but love.
Nothing but love. Hey, if you noticed, we're already over our hour, Joe. I did start the 5 minute timer a little bit late. I did change the description for tonight's show that the show lasts an hour ish. Because I don't want to. Tell me if you agree, Joe. I don't want to get to rushing at the end just to hit that hour mark. But if we feel like things are kind of slowing down, the pace of the show isn't moving forward as quickly as we would like it to, or we're not keeping a steady pace, then hey, we'll wrap it up and we'll call it good until next week. What do you think, Joe? You got any last thoughts for this evening? Oh man, wait, this is one.
No.
We got some people watching because Joe and I could we could talk till midnight if we had to. Joe had the Philly anger in him. Is that the Philly side coming out when you do these Joe knows hot takes,
Yeah.
Joe?
A little bit. Like Pat will say that I'm not from Philly, but I mean I'm a true diehard Philly fan. So
Okay, I got to know a little bit more about the beef between you and Pat. Pat is from Philly, right? He is a Philly bloodline, right?
I think he's technically in the Philadelphia like corridor, or like the actual region or the actual city limits, I would say. He's kind of mad because I made a Philly lawn care video last year where I went to the art museum, or otherwise known as the Rocky Steps. I went to Pat's and Gino's, which is the cheesesteak place in
And he's
in
calling
Philly,
you a
and then I went
poser.
up.
Does he think you're a poser?
I guess so. I don't really care. I'm a diehard Philly fan through and through, and whether you like it or not, if you live in this area, and honestly, Pat, my town that I live in is actually known as like Little South Philly because we've seen there's so many people that have come from South Philly that live in my town. It's almost known as Little South Philly because we've just have such a big Italian population where I live at. That I mean, we have a Versa's Deli, we have Alicio's Deli, Amoroso's bakeries near us. I mean, we have just a ton of like Italian theme. I mean, there's a pizza place on like every corner here where I live at. It feels like, but that's just the area that we live in, and whether you like it or not, you just it's like it's part of you. I mean, it's just I'm not like if I go somewhere, if I go on vacation somewhere, I'm usually wearing like a Phillies hat. I'm usually wearing Eagles hat, something like that. And if somebody says where I'm from, if I say South Jersey, they're like, oh, okay. But then if you say like Philadelphia, I mean, my son was born in Philadelphia, for God's sakes. My oldest, he was born in University of Penn, in Philadelphia. So like it's in you whether you like it or not.
Hey, we we just disconnected there for a second, Joe, but I think we're back on. Hey, let me flex maybe one little nugget, and maybe this is just something folks outside of Philly, it's their go-to, but fill me in on, is it Pamini Brothers? Is that like is that a huge deal in that area, or am I way off base?
I never heard of it before, but
Really?
I'll give you another example. So when I went to visit my parents 2 years ago in South Carolina, we were actually thinking about moving to North Carolina, and we went to Wilmington, in North Carolina, which is a pretty big area. And we went to downtown Wilmington, and were me and my wife. It was just me and my wife, and we're walking around, and what do you know? We stumble upon we didn't even know at the time. We walk into this like bar slash like pub area, and it was a freaking Philly bar. And it just, I'm like looking around. I'm like, there's a Rocky poster. There's an Eagles thing. There's a
This is
Phillies
where
thing. And I'm
at?
like, in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
And and the owner's like was originally from this area, and we're talking and talking and about like where she used to be from and everything. And I said the word water, and she's like, yeah, you're definitely from the area. Like it's just like, it's just one of those things, like, and like,
So
I don't care what Pat says.
Pat,
My son was born
you
in
gotta go.
Philadelphia. It's in my blood.
You you gotta go. You gotta go easy on Joe, Pat. I can't let you. He's gone hard in the paint on me tonight, but uh, I can't let you you berate him all the time about his Philly roots or lack there lack thereof.
I mean, Rich, my parents, so my ancestry, they originally, when they immigrated from to Camden, which a lot, like Camden's was a big immigration area over here from overseas, and which is like Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup is based in their world headquarters has always been in Camden, New Jersey. And so, but I still have family. I have family that lives in, my here you go, Pat. My great grandmother, she lived off of Rawn Street in Philadelphia. My dad used to ride his bike over the Betsy Ross Bridge to go visit her on Rawn Street. So like my family is in the Philadelphia area. So whether you like it or not, so
Hey, okay,
whatever.
Joe. Here's the last thing I want to tell folks about tonight. This is something that we've been watching at school for one of my little business classes, and then one of my film classes. And I cannot get over how good it is. And some of you, maybe you've already seen it, but if you are a documentary film fan, you have got to watch on Netflix The Pez Outlaw. Have you ever heard of it?
Nah.
Dude,
nah.
the people, if you are like a hobby obsessed type person, you will love this documentary. It is incredible. The storytelling, the reenactments, just the filmmaking itself. It doesn't even feel like a documentary at times. It's so nicely woven with interviews like you're accustomed to in documentaries, but these reenactments that make you feel like you're watching a movie throughout. And the coolest part is the guy that the documentary is about is also the guy in the reenactments playing as himself. So it's really freaking good. I would encourage you to, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch The Pez Outlaw on Netflix. It is freaking awesome.
That cracked me up.
Is he still going on you?
All right, Pat. I'm not from Philly, okay? I never claimed to be from Philly. Like, I know I'm from South Jersey, but I'm a Philly sports fan through and through. But speaking of documentary, I just watched a movie on Apple TV after I got done doing Ted Lasso last week. It was about Tetris. It was really good.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Was it? Is it the new Tetris? What's it called?
Yeah. It's called. I think it's called Tetris.
Because I watched one called the Tetris Murders or the Tetris Murder. It was about the guy.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not that. I think it's just called Tetris, and the guy that plays the guy that's in the King's Circle, whatever the Secret Service of the King or whatever. I can't think of the actor's name. He's a big actor now. He played Elton John in his biopic. He plays like the main character, and it's all about Tetris and how Russia had ties to it, and how they finally got into the United States, and how the Game Boy got really big from Nintendo. It was really well done. I thought it was really good.
So I love those true type stories. That's why I'm really into true crime. All right, Joe. Hey, let's wrap this thing up for this Tuesday evening. Arkansas's up 20-5 in the bottom of the sixth. I think it's safe to say we can go to bed and the Hogs will still have won tomorrow morning. Hopefully you don't get too irritated by any Philly stuff this week, but I know we'll be looking forward to your hot take next week, Joe. Hey, thanks again to everybody in the chat, everybody that's regular here. If you're new, we hope you'll become a regular. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday evening for the Budget Wooder Show at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central. Joe, any parting words for our friends this evening?
Love you, Pat.
See, now he's going to do some sucking up there, Pat. He's going to be sucking up just a little bit. Hey, let's just
seriously, thanks to everybody that's watched and has commented. Please comment after the video is published. Comment on that video. It does help out with the video. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. Smash that like button, believe it or not, is a British thing. That's where I got it from. But yeah, seriously, thank you everyone. I really enjoy doing this every week, and I think Travis does every week, and we're just going to continue to hammer away.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun getting to know not only Joe, but getting to know you folks as well. It's just a whole lot more fun when we all get along, Joe. So let's just all get along. That includes you and Pat and everybody else. And we'll be right back here next Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central for the Budget Wooder Show. We'll see y'all next week. Good night.